I have really debated on whether to do this video or not. About a week ago, I did a video that basically stated Microsoft can kiss my you-know-what. I own my PC. Do you own yours? And out of any video I've ever posted on this channel, I've had some crazy feedback. I've had some real positive feedback and had some real negative feedback. So it was really a challenge for me to sit here and think, do I need to do a follow-up video? After some thinking and after reading some of the comments, it was a no-brainer. I had to. So I've picked 4 comments out and I'm going to point some things out that I think that the viewer might have missed or they just don't see. That's what we're going to cover today on eBuzz Central. Today's video is brought to you by OnlyOffice. If you want to go to their website, it's onlyoffice.com. Are you presently running something like a Google Docs or using Microsoft Online? Do you know that all of your emails, photos, and everything they have access to, they can read, they can use for whatever they want? Don't believe me? Go look it up. You don't have that problem with OnlyOffice. It's a secure office and productivity suite. Now, if you scroll down on their website, you've got OnlyOffice Docs, which is collaborative online document editors. You got spreadsheets, documents, presentations, and forms. It's got the highest compatibility with Microsoft Office, easy integration with ready-to-use connectors, and WOPI support and well-documented API. And then you also have OnlyOffice Workspace. Do you have a business? You can run your entire business through OnlyOffice. It's got document, email, CRM, projects, calendar. It's got enhanced security features, including private rooms, LDAP and Active Directory authentication, compliance, and international security standards. And speaking of security, let's go over here and let's take a look at the security real quick. It lets you know we provide a comprehensive range of security tools and services, keeping your data safe on all fronts. Host solutions on premises, encrypt documents and data, customize access settings, and connect authentication services, and manage access rights to protect yourself from unauthorized access, data leaks, and insider actions. Now let's go back real quick, and one of my favorite things I like about it, it's available for Windows, Mac OS, and for Linux. If you use Linux, you can get OnlyOffice. It is a great tool. You can also get it on the Google Play Store for your Android phone or at the Apple iTunes Store for your iPhone. So zip on over and check it out. OnlyOffice.com. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Now, let's get to the video. Now, if you haven't watched my previous video, I suggest you zip on over and take a look at it first. It'll clear a lot of what we're getting ready to talk about up. I go over things like the new Smart App Control in Windows 11. I go over the TPM 2.0. I go over Secure Boot and just kind of show you how things are starting to head toward that lockdown direction. Now, what surprised me with a lot of the comments I received is that people seem to forget that you don't lose your freedom all at once. You lose it a little bit at a time. A little bit here, a little bit there, and before you know it, it's all gone. And you don't have freedom anymore. Now, the first comment I want to go over is it basically states, rubbish. You own your computer. You require a license to use Windows. That's it. You don't own Windows. You rent the software via a license. As for TPM and Secure Boot, these have been available for years. You just not been forced to use these services. Check your facts before posting this rubbish. Now, I don't think what I went over was rubbish. I think what I was pointing out was definitely important to the user. And here's what I'm going to try to say. I'm going to make an analogy here real quick, so just bear with me. Let's say you own this car. You bought the car, but they tell you the motor isn't yours. The motor's ours. We can let you put it in your car, and we're going to let you drive it around. We're going to let you do things with it. But if you ever do one thing that we don't agree with or goes against the contract that we have with you, that motor's going to stop working. Sure, you own the car. The motor quits working. What good's the car now? I had a lot of people tell me that. Of course you own your computer. You're just paying a license to use Windows. And I informed them, no, I'm not paying a license to use Windows because I use Linux. Not only do I own my PC, but I own the operating system that's on my PC. And I don't have to worry about waking up one morning and the owner of my operating system going, he's doing something I don't agree with, so I'm just going to flip a switch. His computer's no good now. He can't use it anymore. What I'm telling people to do is, you've got to investigate Linux. You've got to take a look at Linux. So that way you know if Windows does do that to you, you've got somewhere to go and you're not trapped. you're not caught into the trap that is Microsoft. And then another one of the comments I received, I think the question you would ask for is, do you own your operating system? Of course I own my hardware. It's physically next to me, I can touch it, and even throw it out the window if I want. And with this, decide not to own the device anymore. The operating system is another story. Yes, you can look at it differently in front of you, but it still can be unreachable for you. How it is in most cases. I agree. In most cases, you're right. But with Linux, you don't have to worry about that. It falls back to my previous comment and previous analogy. If you own something, but the inner part of that something is controlled by somebody else, do you really own that piece of hardware? And I had thousands of people tell me, you don't own your phone. You're not complaining about your phone. Yes, I am. I de-Google every phone I ever get. I wipe it completely free of Google, turn tracking off. I do everything I can to shut it down because I don't want them following me everywhere. To give you a good example, I brought up in my previous videos how if you're using Google or Microsoft, they look at everything that you put on their cloud. And remember, there's no such thing as a cloud. It's another person's computer. They control that. They read it. They look at it. Every picture, every email. Have you ever gotten an email in Google and then it had like a date? You know, doctor's appointment, 2 p.m., Tuesday, May 50th, or whatever date it might be. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, your phone reminds you of that one day? How is that? It's because it scans every email you get, scans every picture you get. Just like Facebook logs every single messenger message you sent. They eat your data. They love and thrive on your data. And they live to have control over that device that's in your hand. Now, there was another comment placed on this comment. It says, correct, you own your hardware. As for software, you rent/lease the software, you never own it. You buy a limited time license for the life of your current hardware, but you can change some hardware with the same license, but change too much, you may need to apply for a new license. I'm going to stop right there. So you go out. Let's say you do this. You go out and you buy yourself a new car. Okay? You get that car, you take it home, it's your car. So you go out and you decide, I want to put some new wheels on it. So you put new wheels on it. You go and tint the windows. You tint those windows. Oh, maybe I can do something. Let me change the exhaust pipes. I want it to sound louder. You go change the exhaust pipes. You pay to have them exhaust pipes changed. You get in the car, turn the key, it doesn't start. Well, why does your car not start? Because you broke your user agreement for your car. You can't drive it anymore because you did this. You changed some hardware. It won't work anymore. When are people going to understand that electronics, Microsoft, Google, Apple, the only time you have any kind of issues with these people is when you try to take control of something you paid for. I mean, Apple, you specifically have to have a certain kind of SSD or a certain kind of RAM. Just can't bust it open and do what you need to do. Don't believe me? Check out Louis Rossmann. Look at everything he's going through with right to repair. I mean, everybody, you need to open your eyes. You think it's something small now. It's going to be something major in the future. You're going to be spending money, but never owning anything. Why cannot people grasp that? I don't understand it. And then it comes down here at the end of it. No software is yours. You don't own DVD, Blu-rays, or CDs. You have a license to hold on to that product format. But if you require a new format, you purchase a new license. This is where I disagree with him. Every piece of software that I run, I own, except for maybe DaVinci Resolve. Everything else I use on my systems, I own. And it even tells me that in the GNU license. I own it. I can even change it. If I can make it better, I have every right to. I can do whatever I want with that piece of hardware. It just requires that I share. If you want to change the code and do something else with it, you got to keep the code free so somebody else can do something with it. That's all it states. So, yeah, my software is mine. Yours isn't yours because you're used to it. You're programmed that way. You're locked into that. As far as, I think this is a bad analogy, DVDs, Blu-rays, or CDs, you don't buy a license for those. You buy a copy of a movie. No, you don't own it. You can't go out and re-edit that movie and sell it. No, it's not open source. We know that. And we expect that when we go out and buy DVDs, Blu-rays, and CDs. So that's, in my opinion, a pretty ignorant comparison. Now, in the third comment, he said, maybe they can finally clean their store with this, which is full of garbage. He's obviously talking about the Microsoft Store, and I've pointed out the Microsoft Store in the past, and he's quite right. It is full of garbage. It is trash. Most of everything that's in there is copies of other people's work. I've seen GIMP in there. You can go download GIMP. It's free and open source, and somebody's taken it and put it on that site, and they're charging for it. So, I mean, definitely, Microsoft needs to get their store in check. But I think that's a lot of what they got going on in the future. I believe they're headed to a lockdown environment where every application you're going to get is going to come directly from their store. Don't believe me? Look at whatever phone you have in your hand right now, whether it's Google or Apple. The TPM thing with this encryption key is not new. They do the same thing with BitLocker. It's a good thing they do it this way for people who don't know any better. Do you think everybody that uses a computer system is completely and utterly ignorant? Let me put it this way. Have you ever opened an email account? I know you all have. You've got a username and a password. Can you remember that password? Or how do you get in your email? Or are you one of those that just leave it to auto enter your password? Ooh, that's a mistake, but that's something else I can touch another day. Do you remember to get up and go to work in the morning? Do you remember when the day's over to actually go home? Do you remember how to get home, or do you have to have somebody tell you how to get home? We're not completely and utterly ignorant. If you open up a new computer and they have a nice little book in there and it says right on the front of the book, very important, please read first, this machine has TPM or it has BitLocker. Here's your encryption key. Put this up in a safe place. Put it in a safe. Put it in your sock drawer, wherever you might keep it. We're not completely and utterly ignorant. And then what he says next is great. Yes, they take over your computer because the security hole is your behavior on your computer. Security hole is your behavior on your computer. So what he is saying here is, we're going to control you because you're not trustworthy enough to use your own equipment. So that's like saying, okay, when you get up to go to work in the morning, when you go outside to get in your car, somebody comes over and takes your keys out of your hand and says, just get on the other side. I'll get you to work. Don't worry about it. Total stranger. What if a total stranger did that to you? Would you give him the keys to your car? Would you let him take you to work? I doubt it. That is a complete and utter ignorant statement. That's my personal opinion. If you disagree with me, please put it in the comments below. And I'm going to show that that statement that he just issued right there is completely ignorant. I have people every day that tell me they will unplug the internet and do whatever they have to do and jump through whatever hoops they have to not have a Microsoft account to use that computer. And it gets done on a daily basis. But here's where the problem comes in. And that problem is this. What if you have a laptop or a desktop that comes from the factory with BitLocker enabled? What happens then? Well, this comment right here clears it up and lets you know exactly what happens. Something happened yesterday that left me completely dumbfounded. I dislike Windows, but until yesterday I was okay using it for some very specific things I needed. I am finished with that now. Bad word. That's going to be blurred out. You can kind of figure out what the word was yourself. A friend of mine updated Windows, rebooted the computer, and guess what? Enter BitLocker key. Windows decided to encrypt her entire C drive. She never had a Microsoft account, so she can't recover the key by login. Microsoft basically destroyed all of her data with a single update, and there is absolutely nothing you can do. Now, guys, you're probably sitting there going, whatever, this don't happen. I'm telling you, it happens. I get comments all the time about it happening. It happens on a daily basis. And if you don't have that Microsoft account, that key is not backed up on their cloud, Microsoft computer. It's not backed up there, so how do you get it? I thought this was like a 1 in a million kind of thing. She was just very unlucky. But no, if you search online, there are a ton of people with posts saying, Windows suddenly asking for my BitLocker key. Even Chris Titus has a video about it, saying he came across 3 or 4 laptops that did this and basically bricked the laptop. Are you blank serious? It's basically official ransomware from Microsoft. Guys, I know you think I'm a Linux fanboy. You watch my channel, I cover Linux, I tell you how much I like Linux. But if we don't put our eyes in front of us and see exactly what direction Microsoft is trying to take us, the same direction Google's already headed, the same direction Apple's already headed, and you want to sit there and put down comments saying, whatever, you're a paranoid freak, this is a stupid video, why did you even post it? It's happening. It happens every day. It's happening to good people that own their equipment, but not their operating system. It's people that have fell into the Microsoft hole. But I am going to say this. I said it in the previous video. Microsoft can kiss my you-know-what. I own my computer. Do you own yours? I've had people that come on and said, yes, I run Linux. I own my computer. The only people that 100% truly own their hardware are those that run Linux or BSD. That's the only people. If you have Windows or Mac, you do not own your hardware. They dictate to you what that hardware can do, and if you fool around with that hardware, change anything in it, they lock it down, and they tell you, guess what? Give us this key that we have on our cloud, on our computer, and then we will unlock your system for you. Until then, you're just out of luck. If you disagree with anything that I've said in this video, or maybe you do agree, please drop a comment below. I love hearing from you guys, and I do my best to try to respond to all of you. If you get a chance, zip on by the eBuzz Central store, take a look around. If you see something you like, go ahead and pick it up. And if there's something you would like to see on the store that's not there, please drop a comment below and we'll do our best to get it up there for you. Do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, you can support us by becoming a member to the channel, buying us a cup of coffee, zipping over to PayPal and throwing us a donation, or go to Patreon and become a patron to the channel. Those links will be in the description below. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.